Hey everybody, welcome to the Elseworlds Exchange. I'm Sal, and I'm joined today by not only Cape Joel, but also the Ashley Victoria Robinson. Welcome to the show, Ashley. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Double the American and double the Canadian, because now I'm a dual citizen.
Hey. Yeah, we got the best of both worlds, baby. Obviously, we've talked about the Batman on this channel before. You've probably seen it. If you haven't, ladies and gentlemen, go see the Batman and save this to your watch later list, because there's going to be spoilers galore, because we're pitching sequels to the Batman. And we all have some dynamite ideas. We're all going to go in kind of a fun sequence where Ashley's going to kick things off, then Joel's going to go, and then I'll go. But we all have different ideas. We haven't shared any of them, so there's no preparation for this show. I'm very excited about it. But before we do, Ashley has a Kickstarter out that has already been fully funded. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so what I thought you'd do is tell us a little bit about what it is and why people should check it out, which is in the description below this video. And then we'll segue into your idea for how we can continue the Batman saga.
So I will tease that there are very similar themes that run through my book, because a huge influence of mine is Chuck Dixon's era of the Bat family, where he was in charge of all the sidekicks. I love sidekicks and legacy characters. Every time I come on the show, I feel like we're talking about some Bat family sidekick. So spoilers for my Batman story. But if you go to AuroraandTheEagle.com, or the handy link in the description below, that is my original Canadian superhero. Her name is Aurora Borealis. It might shock you to learn that she has the power of the Northern Lights.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's really deep. She's Canada's national superhero, and then she gets recruited to the Unity League, which is my global justice league made up of superheroes representing a bunch of different countries. And to train and become the best of the best, like myself, she has to immigrate to the United States to work with the Eagle. And I ran this originally in 2019 to pay for my American citizenship application.
I remember this.
Yes, you do, because I think it was the first time I was on your show.
Yes, you were.
And now that has passed and I've completed my journey, I'm able to go back and revisit Aurora. So I'm calling this issue #1 Remix, because it is the original 20 pages plus 28 new pages. So it's a 48-page prestige issue. It's the first total arc of Aurora's story. When I first had this idea, when I first moved to the US, I always knew that around page 50, which is really close to page 48, there was going to be a twist about the Eagle that was going to allow Aurora to make this kind of Robin to Nightwing transition, where she stops being the sidekick and she gets to step up and be a hero. And now I'm finally going to do that. We have printed issues, and we are less than $140 away from our first stretch goal, which would be fully colored pages, because yes, it does cost differently to print in color versus in black and white. And it's, if nothing else happens, because this is a pre-order now, I hope we get to do the stretch goals, because they're the things that I'm most proud of. And I have two amazing covers. One is by, if you're in the Voltron fandom, you know her, L Strikes Art on Instagram, superstar. And then my cover B is by Prince of Kickstarter, White Ash's own Connor Hughes. So if you would go check it out and support it in any of its forms, I would be so very, very grateful. AuroraandTheEagle.com. I also have script reviews available. I'm a former head editor from Top Cow, and Kickstarter consultations, because this is my 6th successful crowdfunding campaign. So if you want to bring your comic to life, let me help you.
That is a genuine goal, and it's a genuine reward, ladies and gentlemen. So take her up on that offer, because it's really, really valuable. And I know there are a lot of aspiring comic book people out there who might want to check that out and would enjoy your project. So thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
And good luck to you on your stretch goals. We're very excited about where it's going from here.
There's only 20 days left. Will we ever reach them?
How will we do it? 20 days. But listen, 20 days goes by like that now. You know, like
I'm no Brandon Sanderson though, but I think we can squeak across.
Yeah. So yeah, let's sell some Batman movies, huh? Like how can we build from there? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is presupposing the idea that the Batman by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson, everyone is still there. There's no contract disputes. There's no weird casting problems. If you have a casting idea, feel free. But otherwise, we're just going to be pitching what the story will be or should be for the sequel to the Batman. Ashley, you have more of a time crunch than the rest of us, so please let us know what you think about how we can continue the story of the Batman.
So I haven't seen the Batman, but I know everything that happens in it.
Okay.
Well, there
I
you
know
go.
the after
That's
credit scenes. I know what the Riddler's plan is and whether or not it's successful. So I feel fairly confident in my pitch, but I also feel confident that it'll never happen. So I'm just gonna go completely wild. So we know that we have the Batgirl movie coming out and that exists in a different universe, right? Because we've seen Michael Keaton on set. All those pictures are floating around. We also know that we have a Flash movie coming out that's dealing with Flashpoint. So we're cracking open the universe in a really interesting way. My favorite superhero is Robin. You guys know this. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably know this. So my pitch is let's bring over Batgirl from the HBO movie, and then let's do sort of an Elseworlds or like an alt universe where we get all of the legacy characters, but maybe they're the same age as Robert Pattinson's 30-year-old Batman. So it's more like a team of equals. So I would bring over Batgirl. I would bring the actor I have always said should play Nightwing, Matt Bomer, because he's already on contract. He works on Doom Patrol.
And he's great.
And he's great. Like Doom Patrol, first of all, if you're not watching Doom Patrol, like what are you doing with your life? And his character in the first season, I was like, why is my face wet? Why am I
He
crying?
sings, he dances, he emotes.
He will destroy you emotionally and does incredible voiceover work. I feel bad sometimes for the guys who are just like there to be in the suits, but hey, there are worse gigs. So I would have him come in as like an elder statesman kind of Nightwing character. And then if I really, really wanted to push my boundaries, I would consider bringing in either like maybe a Kate Kane or Helena. Maybe we could bring Helena over from Birds of Prey, because the DC multiverse, everything happens, right? Everything is now canonized. So I would have Bruce and Selina reunited, moving forward, building kind of a Batman Inc. team with these alternate universe people. That way you only have to sign all the new folks for one movie, which is way easier than trying to get people to come for like 6 movies, 8 movies, 10 movies, like how long Marvel tries to shore people up for.
Totally.
And I would use that as the springboard to set up Batman Inc., whatever the future of the Wayne Foundation is, because maybe Bruce Wayne will show up for more than 10 minutes in this one.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I figured that any sequel they do would probably have to focus a bit more on the Bruce Wayne Enterprises side of things, because it's the one nut they didn't crack in this first one.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it would give you fertile ground to build out your Bat family as well. Like we could have our Lucius Foxes or Luke or whoever we wanted, like from the R&D side of things. We could introduce Carrie Kelly like they had teased they were going to do in like BVS as one of the scientists if we wanted to. Like we want to go that deep with your Easter eggs.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, when everybody gets sent home from whatever the tragedy is, my first pitch is always something like No Man's Land, which we kind of hinted at here.
Yep.
And then that way you can also have your slurry of like 185 Batman villains, which we've had to do since Batman Returns. So once everybody goes home, then either my stinger scene or my post-credit scene is the phone call or the reveal of an in-universe Talia al Ghul and a baby Damian. Because let's be very honest, moving forward, I hate Damian Wayne. Our best chance at a live action Robin is the biological son of Batman. So that's starting from the Robin standpoint, that's my sort of rough pitch for what I think the Batman sequel could be. And I think you could still tell that in the sort of dark and gritty post Frank Miller style that the Batman seems to be giving us, but also give me all the joy of the Batman family that I've been longing for in live action for so long.
Yeah, and kind of like a like No Way Homing Batman, but because the Holland universe is kind of like its own, like brand new fertile ground that has its own grounding and its own footing. And then they went, throw the kitchen sink at this movie. and everyone loved it. Like no one was like, too many Spider-Men. No. In this one, especially because you hear a lot of clamoring for that family. Like now more than ever, people's favorite Bat character is no longer Batman or Alfred. It's one of the Robins, and it's not usually like the first Robin. It's like there's so many Red Hood advocates and so many so many Cassandra Cain fans out of nowhere. There's so many different characters that encompass the Bat family that people want to see represented, that Warner Brothers seems to be all but terrified of introducing, at least in some mainline continuity. Like they go, well, we'll make a Robin. They'll sooner make a Robin movie than a movie with Batman and Robin in the movie.
Which is so weird.
That's what Titans is. And one of the things that I love about Titans is that it's just Nightwing and his amazing friends.
Which,
and that kid who plays Jason Todd. His intro at Titans is like one of my favorite things I've ever seen on TV.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, DC is very like comfortable with introducing those characters and just going like, give them their own platform. So that's fun. I like that idea of just cracking up the sky.
They're afraid of the multiverse too, and Crisis on Infinite Earths is such an important thing in not only DC Comics, not only comic books, but in genre storytelling.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, just embrace it. Like Marvel's already doing it,
right?
So
yeah.
Your idea too is also loaded with spin-off potential, and despite what Matt Reeves might have been saying, like, "Oh, the Batman is its own thing," I'm like, then why are you already getting ready for a Penguin spin-off show? Why were you going to do the Gotham Cop spin-off show that apparently is going to be an Arkham spin-off show now? And you cannot tell me that you do not plan to spin Catwoman off to something with how much people love Catwoman and how you send her off to Bloodhaven for what can only be future adventures.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, no, the Batman, which, yeah, as Matt Reeves suggested, is a self-contained, like maybe a one-off even.
As
Is it really?
It's become a Russian nesting doll of franchise potential.
I think what he probably means by that is he wasn't signed to do any kind of crossover. So within his contract and the way he pitched it, it probably is singular. But
you nailed it.
I mean, living in even I'm not even going to give the MCU credit for this, but living in a post-Star Wars world, are we truly not looking for all crossover, even video game potential at this point?
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Gotham
Knights.
Yeah, I know, right?
When the hell is that game coming out?
This December, October 25th, just in time for Halloween.
Oh, it finally got a date. I know they pushed it back.
Finally.
They finally got a date. Good.
Yeah, then they push back all the movies in a breath later.
Yes.
Right, seriously. Well, at least we're getting Gotham Knights, and then about a week later, we can watch Hocus Pocus 2.
Hey.
Tailor-made for me and me alone.
I can't believe it. By the way, are you guys, is anybody watching Ted Lasso?
Oh, of course.
No.
Okay. Of course I'm watching Ted Lasso.
Okay,
I'm all into it.
I'm watching
Ted Lasso.
1883 right now, trying to get all of the grumpy westerns under my belt.
How is it? Is it good?
It's very, very good. If you liked Yellowstone, you will love Yellowstone, but in ancienter times.
Okay. All right. I'll check it out.
That succession of, or I was going to say Yellowstone, that's Succession with cowboy hats, yeah?
Yeah, very that.
But the boss in Ted Lasso is going to be in Hocus Pocus too, and I was like, "Oh, really?" Because she can sing and dance.
She's really good.
Yeah, and she's great.
She the villain?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume the Sanderson sisters are the villains, but apparently not. I don't know. I don't know anything about that movie outside of that. I was like, I was combing IMDb, going like, "Is Thackeray Binks coming back? You got to bring back him."
Right? Wait.
You got to bring back Thackeray.
One last Hocus Pocus thought. Can we all come back and talk about Hocus Pocus 2?
Yeah.
When it comes out.
Right? Yeah. We'll come back. We'll do Hocus Pocus 2.
Well,
it's gonna be a big hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, people are gonna be excited about it. Anyway, so Joel, you might have a slightly different pitch. I'm excited to hear it. Let's jump into it. What do you got? What is your the Batman phase 2?
So hilariously, we were going to do a different episode. We were going to do sequels to our original Batman movie pitches. I did one called Batman Gates of Gotham, which a lot of people really seem to enjoy and still talk to me about. Shockingly, that movie had a lot of similarities to the Batman, so I was able to basically recycle my entire sequel pitch with only having to change a couple things. So I guess we got to start with the title. The first one was just called The Batman.
Yeah.
What do you call the sequel? I mean, I guess Batman No Man's Land, judging by that end. It's a good title, good, strong, evocative title.
Yeah.
I would want to keep that idea that this new movie did, and that is we get a whole Batman action scene that is unrelated to the rest of the movie. Half of Gotham is underwater. I want to set like a really creepy scene in like a dilapidated library where we see, hey, I mentioned Succession before, Kieran Culkin as the Mad Hatter who's been kidnapping blonde women because, the police are so busy trying to keep order. There's a whole, new generation of supervillains who are being born. We get a great action scene with Batman fighting this guy in a creepy, dilapidated library and like, oh man, the city is going crazier, man. I just can't handle it. Another thing I noticed about the Pattinson Batman, he's tough, he's strong, he's not really agile or like that athletic, is he? He flies once or twice. He makes use of a lot of gadgets. I would like Batman to think, man, I need to up my game. Part of being Batman is I need to keep training. I need to keep learning new skills. I got to be more agile. I need to be an acrobat. Hey, when the flood happened, when Riddler's bombs went off, wasn't the Flying Graysons in town? Weren't they? They could probably teach me a thing or two, right? Smash cut over to a kid in a red hoodie who's wandering the streets. He's been separated from his parents. Because yes, I am also wanting to do Robin and Ashley for my. I think it's the only world they've yet to conquer for Batman, and I think you could do a really interesting take on it. I want to do like post-apocalyptic Robin. He lost his parents in the flood. We don't know if they're dead yet. He just lost them. And now he's roaming the streets looking for them, getting into fights with like the Halloween gang and everything. And when Batman finds the kid, he's like, whoa, this kid's pretty freaking awesome. Will you teach me parkour? And will we replace the families that we lost? And of course, by the end, you find out that his parents did survive, but they were killed by Zuko anyway. They were killed by Zuko and his new enforcer, Killer Croc. Who rides the line between being a metahuman and also just being a strong dude with bad skin who filed his teeth down. And in a flooded city, Killer Croc is actually king because he can make it around quite easily. He's quite aquatic, and Batman being like, wow, the city's really changing. What do I do to fight these monsters? And the main theme we come back to is what the theme of the end of the movie was, and that is that Batman can be more than a tool for vengeance. He can be a tool to inspire. And Batman being like, wow, I really inspired this Dick Grayson kid, didn't I? I want to keep doing this. I want to do more than just scare criminals. I want to inspire children, basically. And that's the whole thrust of my movie.
Okay. All right. I like that. That's fun. Introduce Robin.
Call it the Robin.
The Robin.
That's a good one.
Batman and the Robin.
I had another word, Batman Duo. Because it's a sequel and there's two. And I'd play with the idea too, like, mentorship and partnership would be a theme. Zuko's really mean to Killer Croc. In their Batman-Robin relationship, Robin and Batman learn to respect and, eventually even love each other as father and son. So it's a whole big thing.
You could also have like a B plot with Selina like returning, and then how that sort of duo is going to play out as well. So if it's all like pairs of themes, that's really smart.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Because
maybe Robin gets a little jealous, or maybe she gets a little jealous, where it's like, oh, you've replaced me in the time I've been gone.
Kind of like in Hush when I'm so sorry when
exactly what that is.
Catwoman's in the Batcave, and then Tim's like, "What are you even doing? Why is she allowed to be here?"
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh my god, people are already drawing parallels between the Batman and Hush. Go the full 9 and be like, no, we're using that sequence. We're like, Catwoman's back. Like in Hush, she's just like, I'm here and we're together now. And Batman's like, okay, I'm Bruce Wayne. Like there's no time wasted in Hush. And you could use elements from Hush in that, where it's like, I'm back because I like you. Let's do this. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so into that because I don't think I've ever kissed a girl. Like, I'm so down. And he just tells her who he is. And Robin's like, he's already like, I need a family. I need to build bridges. I got this kid. I'm working things out. And then she shows up, complicates the whole thing. And he's like, oh, but I really need to get laid. So like, hey, it's completely changed the whole dynamic. But it also creates tumult where it's like, no, Zuko and Waylon have a really like, have a abusive relationship. And Batman has a complicated relationship that requires like discussion and like compromise, like showcasing like that relationships don't have to be complicated to be bad or whatever. That's nice.
And then at the end we go betterhelp.com/Batman Duo.
Batman Duo.
Love it. Yeah, also too, with having Croc and Zuko kind of play off each other and be a duo of villains, you could also do that long Halloween thing where you have this traditional gangster very upset about how the city is turning. It's like, to get taken seriously anymore, you got to be a penguin or wear a big hat or be this ugly lug with bad skin.
Exactly. Yeah, he's like, I love the idea of Zuko being like, I want to make inroads in the Gotham City crime syndicate, but I know that like that way of doing things is over, but I also will not debase myself by putting myself in a silly ass costume.
So
I'll make my enforcers do that.
I'll
hire it's like a brand manager. This is my brand manager.
And of course, the big final battle will be in the sewers naturally, and Croc will turn on Zuko, ushering in the brand new age of Gotham crime, the era of the supervillain. You could even have a bit where you got them all like Hannibal Lectered up, and you're taking them to Arkham, and we'll get a great actor to play him. We'll get like Winston Dukes or something, and he'll be like, "All my life I lived in the freak show, but here at Arkham, the freaks are running the show."
Damn it.
Something like that,
Cool. All right, Batman duo. Man,
Yeah.
multiverse and Batman duo. All right. Before we move on, let's get into some super chats because I know that the folk who are watching have their own ideas and they also want to compliment people. So here we go. Ryan Craig. I do Court of Owls since Batman wants to turn over a new leaf, introduce Robin. Having Dick helping him, then dealing with the twist of being the gray son of Robin would be nuts for Reeves to do. Yeah, that'd be interesting using like introducing Robin and also making it like you could be the thing they're building to destroy this place, but I'll take you and own you, that kind of thing.
There was a lot of conspiracy talk too about like, maybe what the Waynes and the Arkhams and the Maronis were into even before the fact that the murder of the Waynes is still mysterious, where they're like, we don't know, maybe it was a mob hit, maybe it was a mugging, maybe it was another thing.
Yeah. Kingsport Cal, hello Ash, always a treat to see you.
Thank you.
I hope Joel, Ethan, Ben, Tiffany, and Jawin are doing well. Comic Pop has meant a lot to me throughout the years. Thank you, man. Yeah, I haven't talked to Jason in like a week or two, but I assume he's doing well.
He's asleep.
He is asleep.
So he's doing well.
Thank you, BSR.
Hope so.
Says the Batman versus Kite Man. Yeah, I mean, listen, the Ballad of Kite Man has now become, I mean, thanks to the Harley Quinn show, Kite Man has become a household name.
Hard to believe.
And thanks to Tom King, he's been given like a whole backstory, and like it's stranger things have happened. I think that they'd make a Kite Man show.
Yeah, probably.
Cal also says Batman sequel 10 Nights of the Beast done and done. Ooh. Yeah, 10 Nights of the Beast. It's funny because like in the 90s,
culturally relevant now.
Yeah, the Russians making a Superman. Yeah, all right.
It'd be a great animated movie as well, sort of in their standalone universe right now.
I like that.
Where is that?
Why that never got adapted?
That's one of those things that like DC really dropped the ball on, where they were like, clearly we're doing these animation adaptations, and then they went, oh no, interconnected universe. Adaptations in the interconnected universe.
Yeah. Also, sometimes they're just not. Sometimes
and also just never mind. Yeah, and then here's an animated adaptation, and it's not connected. We don't know.
Sometimes they're based on video games, and sometimes CW does their own that are actually pretty good.
Yeah. And then sometimes they're like, you want Batman and Batgirl to kiss, and we're all like, no, we
don't. Please no, Bruce Tim.
Yeah. Azzarello and Tim had a special meeting where they were like, yeah.
We keep bringing on more writers to Cape Crusader to make sure that doesn't happen.
Jordan Thill, catching the noon show in 40 minutes, so I can't watch, but wanted to drop in my support because the last back issues was great. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Somber Shadow, 001, I think the sequel story with the villain Anarchy would be great. He could agree with the Riddler's methods about dealing with corruption and start his own revolution while Gotham is in its weakened state.
Classic
I hear what you're saying, man.
Tim and Steph.
Oh yeah. Come on.
I like the deeper villain cuts too. I'm glad we finally got a Riddler movie. I'm in no rush to get a Joker movie, despite the fact they're like, he's here, he exists, everyone, and he's the creepy guy from Eternals.
Yeah, great. Yeah, he is great in that movie.
Love that actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah. Dr. J, screw the Robins. Let's have Bruce adopt an orphan Cassandra Cain. She's connected to some evil organization. You get father-daughter vibes. Drives. The idea doing Cassandra's origin via No Man's Land and having that be the first Robin is awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of love that.
It'd be a hell of a bold declaration. That also means David Kane could be a villain, and that could be your way into doing League of Assassins and Tally, where it's like, oh, you thought that guy was bad.
Yeah. And Lady Shiva.
Lady Shiva.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be great too, because again, this Batman's just starting out and everything. So to have an actual kung fu master be like, no. Your suit makes you weak and clunky. Pressure point.
Oh my God. Yes. Cowboy says, super R.L. Stein fan. I loved Hocus Pocus. Grew up on Nickelodeon Orange Couch. Can't wait for the new season of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are we actually getting a new season of Are You Afraid of the Dark? I knew they were making a movie, Canadian which I watched. Yeah. Oh man, everybody is Canadian in that friggin' show. It's amazing. Okay, Zebo, I'm coming to get you.
the Midnight Society.
I love those guys, man. Let me tell you. I hated that movie, but I really liked I really like that show. As long as they bring back that cute guy with the glasses, my wife is a big fan of that guy. Cat Lawyer will defend for treats says, I could see Mayor's kid turning evil, leading to Batman taking in Dick to avoid the same fate. I assume the kid is Dick. Weren't the Owls and Owlman grooming Dick to be a Talon? Yes.
They were.
So there you go. Nick Lachlan. Oh my God, Joel, what if Batman Duo introduces Two-Face?
Again, there's another solid player. We know there was a DA who's not the DA anymore. Actually, I was going to do Two-Face from a third one if I ever got a pitch for that. I had a whole thing for it.
Okay, great.
Not Hush, not Tommy Elliott, who everyone is screaming about right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but there was a subtle reference to Hush in the movie with a guy named Elliot in big letters called Hush written over him.
Yeah, jeez.
If they do Hush, will they have to eventually tell people what Hush is a reference to Hush Little Baby? That's what it's from.
No, they won't say it, but what it'll be is over the dark title cards or the dark like WB logo. You'll hear the chorus of tiny children. With the little, with the kids piano.
The little
Social Network.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, no, definitely. That's happening. Really quick shout out to Jason, who mentions that there was a tribute video made for our channel. Thank you very much, Jason. Yes, I know. I've seen it. I commented on it. You can see it.
Now, here's the thing. If they do Hush, they should jump right to Heart of Hush.
Yes.
Because Catwoman is in that story. And also, you can use the Nirvana song Heart-Shaped Box.
Yes.
No
get
more
some more
Nirvana songs.
Oh, more slow Nirvana. I'm not the world's biggest Nirvana fan, so like changing it up in some way is like, oh yeah. Like I liked that, so I'm like, oh, I kind of like this. I'm like, oh, it's Nirvana. Damn it. But yeah, man. RK says having No Man's Land as a sequel followed by a third movie where the reconstruction of Gotham is marred by the Court of Owls as they try to reclaim power. Yeah, I feel like that's like it's too. I don't know if we want it to feel like a big damn saga like the Nolan trilogy kind of was. I think we're done with that, or at the very least we did it already. Let's do something more episodic. Where it's like it's because the Batman was done. Like when it was done, it's like, oh, you're good. You don't need to. You could literally never make another Batman sequel after this, and it's fine.
I like you mentioned the episodic nature because you're right, because TV is getting more like movies now, and movies to compensate are getting more like television. The Batman was 3 hours. I felt like I binged an entire Netflix series while in the theater.
Yeah, no, man.
I've heard it feels very long.
See, I did not. I know. What was it? Our counterpart, Benny the Comic Story, was like, yeah, I got tired, like around like the 2.5 hour mark, and I was like, no, like at the 2 hour and 50-minute mark, I was like, oh my God, there's more movie
here. I know. I almost got tired, but it kept reeling me back. Or I'm like, oh, that was a good riddle. Oh, that was a good scene. Oh, I liked what Alfred did with the cufflinks. That was nice.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot. I had no problem with that movie and its length. I love long movies. I'm like the kind of person who has come around. I used to love it. Now I'm kind of like, about artificial intelligence from Steven Spielberg. But people complained about the multiple endings, and I'm like, no, I like multiple endings. I'm like, yeah, keep it going. More movie. This thing was expensive to make and to go to. Get your money's worth. I mean, like, movies are, like, oh, I spent $250 million, and it's like, what, for it to be a commercial for the next movie? No one cares.
Especially now in a day and age when movies are getting so much more expensive and getting out, you're literally rolling the dice and taking your life in your hands a lot of the time. Yeah, make it worth my while. More movie, please.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you don't like movies that are commercials for other movies, you must love what Marvel's doing right now.
Now it's kind of like, it's been a pretty rough time for Marvel for me right now. I still enjoy them because I like where it's going. If I could even begin to guess, but I do like them. I'm just kind of like, but embrace the fact you're making a movie. Like now that you have a show and you have a format for said shows, like you have a literal platform you invented just to have more longer movies. Use it and embrace the movie format. Also embrace the mid-budget movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Like there is no excuse. Like because I don't know why now of all times, like that horrible CG sequence in Black Widow is starting to make the rounds where, Yelena like blows up, but it's making the round. I see it everywhere and I'm like, why? we made fun of it a year or two ago. Like, it's over. But people are still talking about it. And I'm like, there's no excuse for that movie to be $200 million outside of the fact that like it takes place on a flying ship or base or whatever. But like a Black Widow movie shouldn't be $200 million. It should make $200 million, but it should only have been like $60 million and make it be on Madripoor and have it be like really cool. It's
it makes me
weird.
wonder how much of that money goes into an actor like Scarlett Johansson's salary for returning for her 825th Marvel movie when she was promised that she was getting a Black Widow movie a decade ago.
Yeah.
You want to know something funny about that Black Widow movie? I streamed it with someone who fell asleep halfway through, woke up later, and they're like, so when's the next episode of that come out?
LOL.
Because they thought it was a show. Was like literally, it's like, so this is like, because we had 2 other Marvel shows before. It's like, so we'll get like episode 2 of Black Widow next week, right?
No, that's it, man.
That's the thing.
It's just
she said, I am not coming back. No, thank you.
Langley is here to say, my idea is Mr. Freeze in this universe is a doc waging revenge for his sick wife by paralyzing people inside their own bodies while still conscious. Yeah, that's horrific.
Yeah, I wonder what this series is going to do with the idea of like metahumans, and will we see the Clay Faces, the Man Bats, and the Mr. Freezes, or will they consider to not gel with this universe?
I think we're going to get a lot of quote unquote street level villains.
Oh yeah, some Mad Hatters and some Scarecrows. I feel like Matt Reeves doesn't want to do that, but this universe still, I think, lends itself to that. I always pitched, there were 2 ideas I always had for palette cleanser movies between franchises. One was back when Predator wasn't owned by Marvel, and it was like, just make Batman versus Predator, like just make that movie, like, you know, spend $80 million and just have it be like a slugfest, like just the 3 comic books, make it into a movie. People will go, freaking what? but there'll be no question as to what universe it takes place in. None. It's that. Or another one is like just to have Clayface be the villain. Like Clayface or Man-Bat is as the villain. You could make Matt Reeves as Batman fight Man-Bat, and no one's gonna go "Fi." Matt Reeves might be like, "No," but the audience will go, "Yeah, okay,
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, all right, dope." Werewolf guy, I got it. I'm in. Like, yeah. And that's all you need to do is like that. Once you set those villains up, then the sky's the limit. Then Superman could show up, or then he could still deal with Mad Hatter being like a creep, you know, and just being like some weird Saw movie. You know, you could still do all those things. But
did you guys ever see that movie Smoking Aces?
I never saw Smoking Aces, but I did hear a lot of good things. I still haven't seen it yet.
It's pretty good. I enjoy it. It's about a bunch of colorful assassins with a bunch of gimmicks, not unlike Batman villains. And there is one guy, Alistair Soot, played by the Scottish guy from Sons of Anarchy, and like a million other things. You know him because he has like an actual Glasgow smile in real life. That's like his real thing. And he played a character who, I shit you not, was basically just golden age Clayface. And that is, I kidnap people, and because I'm a great actor, I become them. I do molds of their face and everything, and I capture their voices so I can infiltrate things. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that kind of Clayface existing in this Matt Reeves universe. You know, I'm a weird actor turned, you know, like moonlighting hitman.
Versus like the amorphous Blob and his little daughter who's in love with Robin traipsing through town.
Oh, yes, I remember that one.
Oh,
the animated series.
What a gut punch of a show. That one.
Yeah.
What an ending. I was like, no. Oh, yeah. That's still the best one from that season. It's just that episode. I like Clayface from that animated show, though, where he's just a big, friggin' weird, creepy blob that hates himself. And
I love the Christmas episode where Batgirl fights him at the mall.
Oh, yeah. Another classic.
Yeah. And you could still have Ron Perlman play him, and it's okay.
I was going to say, yeah, right? Because he's an ageless being, Ron Perlman.
Yeah. Shady Sam, Payday. So here's some bread. Thank you very much, Shady. We really appreciate it, man. Mostly, I just want an on-screen Robin that the dynamic see that dynamic properly explored in live action, right? Batman making his own family after losing his parents is one of the most beautiful parts of the Batman myth. It really I agree with that. Yeah.
And it is arguably his only redeeming quality and coping mechanism, and his greatest success is Dick Grayson, so let us see it.
And especially in a movie like this, you know, that tried so very hard to interrogate the idea of not only Batman, but vigilantism in general, to the point where they almost do too good a job by the end of the movie where it's like, well, if I was a sane person, I'd just stop being Batman altogether.
Yeah,
But no, I need to be a better, more inspiring type of Batman. I also like this, and you probably heard it too, you know, the constant back and forth on Twitter where it's like, well, why doesn't Batman just put his money into charitable endeavors? Well, as we've seen in this movie, charitable endeavors can actually be corrupted very easily and are a great place to wash dirty money, actually.
Yeah.
Well, also because it's a comic book. So
And also
do we
that.
want it to be Bruce Wayne's checking account, or do we want to see him punch a bad guy?
Yeah. Chip Zdarsky made a comic about it, apropos of the Twitter discussion about that, where it's like, it would be the most boring comic book ever. And so he does this comic of Batman or Bruce Wayne in the study, and like instead of a bat crashing through the window, it's just like a note that says, you know, give money to charitable foundations and like fund the police department and stuff. And he's like, okay, I will. And then it's like he's reading a comic book and it's like the most boring comic book ever made.
Pretty much, because we're still making stories and trying to make drama here. Where's the drama in that?
Come on. That's like an indie series where it's like, you want to talk about subversive takes on Superman? What if Superman fucking killed people?
Yeah.
What if Batman just used his money for legitimate philanthropy? Okay, that's your independent series. Like, do that.
Absolutely.
But don't ruin Batman with that.
Speaking of Superman, if I may steal an idea too from my other co-host Matt, because I thought this just the image alone was really awesome. We have a Batman in this universe who is trying to learn to be inspiring, to learn that, you know, justice doesn't have to come from the dark. What a stinger if at the end of that second movie he sees a guy on a rooftop, Superman shirt, jeans. He's got the little cape because he's the new 52 Superman who is also just starting out. He can only leap tall buildings. He cannot fly yet. Doesn't have the lasers. He's just super strong. And Batman looks at him and goes, "Did your mom make that S for you?" "Yes, actually. Yes, she did.
Yes,
Thank
my
you."
mom did make it for me.
Yes. He's like, oh, okay. Want to be friends? Want to be the world's finest? I thought you'd never ask.
They're never going to do that.
I know they're not. That's God forbid Batman and Superman should be friends in something, right?
I've been yelling about that for years.
God forbid they should like each other's company and be like, well, you know, you represent the things I don't have and you have the things I don't have.
Yeah. Meow Nyan, Batman versus Child Protective Services. On some serious note, I think Dick showed up. If he showed up at school with bruises from crime fighting, it would create tension there. Sounds awful, but possible obstacles for Bruce to overcome. There's a comic about that. There's a
also,
comic
have you
that.
ever been to an elementary school? Like, kids are fully covered in bruises all the time.
Yeah,
always
usually
falling
from
down.
from their peers.
Joel and I were raised in the woods. Like,
Pretty much, yeah.
just go outside and don't pass away. Come back for dinner.
Yeah, man. My there's a comic where like Jason Todd died, and then Child Protective Services was like, where did he die?
Yeah.
What did you do? Did you kill him? You know, that kind of thing. It's actually really like neat how they explored that. So I had one pitch that I abandoned because it was just too friggin' miserable.
Oh, do tell. Now
I was literally like, okay, so Gotham is in disarray because of the flooding and everything. The government starts investigating Gotham. Okay, yeah, Gotham's under heavy construction and it's slow going. The U.S. government's threatening to pull its aid because there's an investigation pending that it's not being used for proper rebuilding, that Gotham is too corrupt.
I like it.
Batman pushes himself to the brink of exhaustion, trying to help and fix Gotham and stem the rising tide of crime. Meanwhile, there's this really charismatic clergyman named Deacon Blackfire.
Hey, the cult. We're doing the cult.
Right, sets up a mission there. He sets up a shop in Gotham with displaced people during the recovery efforts. He usually does stuff overseas, but he finds that Gotham's a really great place just here in his own country. Batman is quicker to anger, and he's shorter with Alfred and Gordon, and his efforts to help have been just weaker and weaker. So he's noticeably getting bigger and bigger every time he interacts with Batman and Alfred. Batman's reliance on this drug he used to help him out of the Riddler fiasco called Venom has grown into an addiction. Meanwhile, homeless people are starting to disappear, which is less noticeable than usual amid the reconstruction efforts, which Batman does investigate and is captured by Blackfire's zealots and disappears into the underground and is tortured and such. And I'm like, no. And then Batman goes through like detox while he's being like indoctrinated by Deacon Blackfire, that engenders him to Blackfire, but blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I hate that. It's so miserable. I don't even want to do that.
I mean, I'm kind of on board. I mean, the first one's pretty damn dark and serious. You just got to save it at the end. You just got to have that torch moment at the end to have it all work out.
Right. Also, the Joker gang is the Sons of Batman. Like that gang that's in the beginning of the movie, they become the Sons of Batman. They're inspired in the worst way.
Oh, I like that too, because the first movie plays with that idea, with Batman being like, oh no, my message of vengeance is really being adopted by these friggin' internet incels there who think we're on the same page. I don't like that. Oh, I like the Sons of Batman. Yeah, man, we came to save you.
Exactly. We saw what you did in Gotham, and like we saw like how effective that was with Riddler's gang of incels from the internet who friggin' put up costumes. So now let's do this, and it's just like, oh crap,
we're the Bat percenters. We shave our heads.
Yeah, but that was too miserable for me. So I was like, okay, well, how about just Court of Owls? And then it was just Court of Owls is literally just you take the comic and you just change it where it's sandwiched between Reconstruction, where it's like Gotham's being rebuilt. The Court of Owls are like, this is the time. Like this is our time now. Like we. Alfred's distrust in Gordon is also a major factor because like they used a lot of Earth One, and I like the idea of like because there's no Robin, it's like you got to use something. You got to have some kind of like help, and this Alfred is like he was a security force. He wasn't really a butler, but his distrust of Gordon should be palpable because it's a fun like undercurrent in the Earth One universe.
Like who's your real father figure?
Exactly. Lincoln March comes in to undermine Mayor Real's efforts because of the that I'm reusing the like idea I had before where it's like the U.S. government is still going to pull their funding because things are corrupt. Real, I think, was like a wide-eyed optimist in this movie. In the previous movie, where she's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go up there. I'm gonna tell them to."
Yeah.
She was like, "I'm gonna go up to like the Gotham people and tell them to chill out." And then she gets shot, and she's like, "Fuck this!" And I'm like,
Which I like that she's trying to disprove the Riddler's paranoia and conspiracy theories that not all politicians are corrupt and get shot for it.
And gets shot for it. So Batman's starting to distrust her, and Lincoln March comes on the scene, and he's this young, bright idealist who looks a lot like a rich white guy that Bruce Wayne would find recognizable. And, obviously Ms. Real is like a person of color and she's like from a different part of Gotham. And like, so it creates this thing where he's like, he finds himself immediately trusting Lincoln March and distrusting Real because Real is like trying to do the right thing. And, but she's still under investigation and, correlation does not equal causation, but he's like still learning all that shit. And so he's just like, yeah, no, Lincoln March, maybe he's the guy to go with. And it's like, obviously he's a puppet created by the Court of Owls to infiltrate the political spectrum because Real is actually not corrupt. And so it's like, we got to penetrate
but we're going to corrupt her and induct her into the Court of Owls.
Well, no, we need to replace her. We need to undermine her. Like we've created this undercurrent of like distrust of her and her stuff. And so we've created this new replacement for her in the form of Lincoln March. Batman goes and investigates it. All the stuff with the Waynes is still there, but because of the implication of the Waynes in the first movie, we can still reuse all that stuff and like the Waynes' connection with the Court of Owls and the Arkhams and all that stuff. But we change it with a little twist where the Arkhams are involved with the Court of Owls, or at the very least they were. That's how Arkham gets built so quickly and why it's so gothic and crazy, because it's made by these like Eyes Wide Shut cultists and stuff.
Is the maze under the asylum in this version? The maze
under the asylum, yeah. But we get this whole thing. We get the whole sequence. Use the whole thing where it's like he goes into the he finds all the roosts or nests. Then he goes into the sewers and he gets taken by a Talon. He gets put in the maze. We do the whole maze sequence. It's super fun and cool. He finds his way out. Meanwhile, Gordon is still trying to find Batman. He's, burning out the light on the signal. Alfred's weighing on whether he should call Gordon, because he's missing. And he's like, I don't trust him, though. And that's why he doesn't call Gordon. And Gordon doesn't know who Batman is. Batman ultimately frees himself. He gets out. He finds Alfred. They have a terse argument where Batman's like, you haven't told me everything. We haven't kind of like retread. Alfred hits Bruce and knocks out a tooth. The Court of Owls symbol is in there. You don't understand. Your mother was like many things, and she loved you, but she couldn't control the world that she was in, you were going to be a Talon for the Court of Owls. So it's like the Dick Grayson scene, but it's him instead. So kind of like more
every great family of Gotham for hundreds of years has offered up their firstborn son.
Exactly.
I'm Andy Serkis.
Right. I'm Andy Serkis. But you know, obviously Lincoln March is the Talon that's been dogging everybody and being the problem. Maybe we do the Electrium. Maybe we just say that no, he's just a Talon, and we kind of like Ra's al Ghul from friggin' what's it called? Batman Begins, where we imply, are the Talons immortal, or are they just
all smoke and mirrors?
Yeah, or are they just wearing these cool suits that Batman made? Maybe that's where Batman got the idea, or at least got the tech for the suit. The owls. Oh, that's right. No, and then they do have owls. I wanted it to be supernatural, where it's like no, and then there's owls.
Well, yeah, there's owls, there's bats. It's fine.
Yeah, they send the Talons to Wayne Manor, and you know, we have a whole fight. You know, in the cave. Get the hell out of my cave. Batman has a sweet suit that like maybe Alfred made for him, and it's just Court of Owls, but it's just a movie, and it's really self-contained. It's just like fun and cool. It doesn't set up much except for like playing in the world of the ruined Gotham and implying a larger universe, while also not dragging out the Court of Owls, because the Court of Owls for me only exists in one story and then has never ever been good,
and diminishing returns every time after.
Yeah, so like no, they were a thing, they had existed, they thought this was the time to shine, they picked the wrong time because Batman exists, they're smacked down hard, and then they all kill themselves at the end because that's how the book ends. Like that's, and like they all did. Like that was the Court of Owls. The Court of Owls was like we're gonna use this as an opportunity to grab all of Gotham. We failed. This is us. This is everybody. There's not like a secret. There's no Emperor Owl or whatever the hell they did. It's just that, you know.
I like how much Gordon you've included, because I thought that was one of the best like casting choices is Jeffrey Wright. So why would you waste him on that casting?
Yeah. And I really wanted to have there be like, so Batman's getting attacked by the Talons, and there being like a subplot where Gordon has to deal with Gotham as well, as opposed to because in the book it's the Bat family, but there is no Bat family. So instead it's just Gordon and the GCPD. We establish more people that Gordon can trust. Maybe Renee Montoya finally makes an appearance in this movie.
Bullock, Crispus Allen, all those good Gotham Central characters.
Right, like characters that maybe could really like headline a show about Gotham Central.
And have spin-off potential,
Exactly. And I don't know what that undercurrent would be. Maybe you introduce another villain that like is a puppet of the Court of Owls, that like is a secondary Batman villain who's like got goons or some kind of like problem. I don't know. I hadn't had that part where, but that's like B plot, where it's like Gordon has a whole story that he's dealing with. And it cements him as commissioner at the end, of course, because like
naturally, and that's
let's not waste any friggin' time.
I like that a lot.
I have to go now, guys. I'm so sorry, sure. But I just wanted to like stick around, let them wrap up. But thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure.
I have to go.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to check out the description below this video and check out Ashley's Kickstarter, everybody.
Thank you.
Please
do.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Bye.
I really like that idea, Sal. And in fact, I would say you could even fuse the cult idea and the Court of Owls idea with one tiny little reskin. And you know what that would be?
Yeah.
It's not the Court of Owls. It's not Deacon Blackfire. It's the Church of Saint Dumas.
There you go. I know a lot of people want to see Saint Dumas.
The Church of Saint Dumas has come to Gotham. They're trying to like help the homeless people and do outreach, but of course what they're really doing is building their network. And they're like, and when the city is reborn, it will be a city under Saint Dumas.
Yeah.
And we have our champion here. You just totally rip off Curse of White Knight. Oh, yeah. Here's our guy, our head of security, John Paul Valley. He came back from the war a little messed up and everything. You will be our champion. You will be our Batman in this grand new order.
That'd be great. Yeah, if you made Azrael the anti-Batman that Gordon has to fight while Batman is defending his own home from the Owls and the Talons, that is pretty friggin' cool.
Again, to totally say an idea I had for my third one, this is where you introduce young upstart D.A. Harvey Dent, who gets burned by Azrael's flaming sword, and that's why he becomes Two-Face.
Yeah, you could do that. I don't know if I would like to think that Harvey Dent's already been Two-Face in this universe.
Right. Because we are on like year 2.
Right? Because we're on year 2. A lot could happen. Joker happened, I guess.
Apparently. Although it's like, it happened, but is he just a regular crazy guy? Has he not taken an acid bath yet? They make a good point not to show the color of his hair or his face.
No, it's true. But his face does have like weird bumps on it. Like he is messed up. I think it's more like, what's it called? The Telltale games, where it's like, he's Joker, but he hasn't picked that name yet.
I like the Telltale games a lot. I think
They're
they do
great.
a lot of great work with Joker, actually.
Yeah. Tom Coley says Batman the Cult seeing Blackfire for the first time would give them a great opportunity to just put a spin on that character. Grundy too? Yeah, it'd be neat. I mean, listen, if you wanted to make Blackfire formidable, you could have Grundy be the agent of Deacon Blackfire, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, because you need a big, strong guy, because Riddler was all about challenging him mentally. You need a villain who can challenge him physically.
Yeah. B Senior or SR. A possible third movie adapting A Serious House on Serious Earth, set up by the Batman sequel and the Arkham spin-off show that is being made.
Sure seems like they want to go that way, because they make a point of like, Riddler does not die. Joker is already here. We're putting all of them in the asylum.
I'll be honest, man. I just do Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth as a show. Like, just do that. Like, or those fun Arkham tapes that were in the first game. Those are good.
Even Arkham Hell on Earth, I think you could probably adapt into a pretty solid TV show, because it's about, Great White and everything, and just a regular person coming out the other end of the asylum all fucked up.
Totally. Kingsport Cal, Batman Venom. I mean, it's right there. Oh, I know it's right there. Yeah, I feel like Batman Venom. That's why I like lumped Cult and Venom. They're both really like dark. They're both really dour, and they both deal with Bruce like being broken down and being like and having to find himself again.
It also
means, I was like, oh, that's thematically relevant. You could put that together.
It also means maybe you could do a good version of Bane later.
Yeah. Shane Wiresteck says Court of Owls is with Bane as the enforcer to break the bat. I hear what you're saying, but I feel like Bane
should be
as
his
an enforcer. That's very Batman and Robin.
It also very Dark Knight Rises. It's been done. No more Bane as a henchman.
Yeah, Bane should just show up if you're going to do a Bane. Nathan's Fast Talk Food Reviews says Cluemaster and Hush as Riddler copycats like Zodiac Killer. That's fun.
Little close to Riddler. In fact, there was a point in The Batman where I almost thought, oh no, is Riddler going to be revealed to be Tommy Elliott? Are they inversing Hush on me?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people were like, oh, this is just Hush. And I'm like, you mean the bad animated movie?
Yeah.
That's not the book.
Yeah, the bad animated movie that bastardizes the comic.
Yeah. Nick Can't Snipe. Bat's trying to end the collateral-filled turf war between Croc and Black Mask, one of the collaterals being the Flying Graysons. Bruce takes in Dick because his failure and also to ensure he doesn't become like Bruce. Yeah.
That's a lot what I was thinking. Yeah, I like the idea of Killer Croc being in the Haley Circus freak show. So he knew the Graysons, and maybe he cuts their line to ingratiate himself to Zuko and everything.
Totally. Storm King, I may be hoping against hope, but Batman vs. Predator would be amazing and simple. It could show how he handles a situation that's bigger than him without the intervention of Superman. I agree. They're never going to be able to do that, but I want that so bad because because Batman vs. Predator is the third best Predator movie ever made. Tevia says, what about Mr. Bloom? Mr. Bloom is an interesting idea. He's a little too supernatural.
Little bit. But
for now.
Yeah, exactly. Again, we don't know where this series is going. This first one was grounded, but that's not to say that they won't get more and more fantastical as they go on. In fact, I hope they do, because that's like a nice little thing where it's like, no, I started as Vengeance, I ended as the Caped Crusader.
Exactly. It's like it's kind of like New Frontier.
Yeah.
When Batman started out as a scary Avenger, and then when you get Robin, he's like, I don't want to frighten children.
And there's a lot of that in the movie too, isn't it? I don't want to be all about fear. I want to be able to inspire, and Batman being a rallying cry for justice in Gotham.
Right? Matthew Terlaga, if they do make a sequel to the Batman, do you think it will be possible for them to do a realistic take on Ventriloquist or Baby Doll? I know Tiffany pitched Baby Doll when we did our review of it last week.
Oh, did she? I got to see.
She was like, I want Baby Doll, but maybe that's too weird. I don't know.
Get weird with it.
Yeah, and Professor Pig, of course. But
Professor Pig would be very easy, actually.
He works in this universe. That'd take no time.
Get Oscar Isaac on that. He can be Professor Pig. We got a handsome actor, uglied him up, which they did with Colin Farrell, and just have him be like, Pig is perfect. Pig is beautiful. My dog's wrong.
That'd be great.
It's just Buffalo Bill.
One. Yeah, I love Ventriloquist as a character, especially he's a concept I like a lot. I love the idea, and I think we've pitched this before, where it's like, especially in a world where like Gotham's criminal underworld is being supplanted by like clowns, and it'd be really kind of fun to be like, we got a new player, he's worse than the Falcones, and it's like it's Scarface, and everyone's talking about him, and then it's like it's a fucking puppet.
Hey, Batman, look at me.
Batman's like, this is the end. Like, this is the end of organized crime in Gotham. Is like, because it's a god. This is what my life is now.
This is the death. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life, aren't I?
Right?
Hey, you have Scarface do the long Halloween speech. In this city, no one takes you seriously anymore unless you have a colorful gimmick or a, costume.
Yeah. Right. He's like, and he just punches
Wesker's head off.
Yeah.
Just bang.
Milkman, Batman Venom. Batman uses a prototype of Venom to keep up with the crime in the flooded Gotham and becomes addicted. Yep.
Solid
that was in
pitch.
the movie. I think that's a natural progression.
No, let's talk about Batman and drugs. It's funny, this PG-13 Batman, they got one fuck in, they got to be a little sexier, a little more murdery, but they could not use the name of real drugs. They had to create fake drugs called drops to get around that, because that would have pushed them to R. And I love that that's the thing that would have pushed them. Like, now, if Batman is dealing with real heroin or real Molly, then that's very naughty for the children who will be born in this movie anyway.
Well, also, everyone who made this movie is also on drugs, and it's like, I don't want to be a hypocrite. So anyway, Dr. J says, allegedly, Dr. J says, here's an idea for the Penguin and its possible Catwoman show. Introduce the other gangs like Black Mask, Killer Croc, could be Mutated Kid from the Flood, and Anarchy. Yeah, I mean, like, you're going to have to use characters in that Penguin show that you're never going to put in the movie.
Again, my other co-host, Matt, had a good pitch. Make the Warriors. Batman goes into the city, the flooded part of the city, to find this Robin kid to teach him parkour. Penguin puts out a bounty on both their heads, and we get all the colorful Gotham gangs who chase them from one end of the city to the other all in one night.
Such a great idea. That's a solid fucking movie. That's a movie that you could still make only like 2.5 hours long, and it's friggin' dope, and it's just really self-contained. It's like Assault on Precinct 15 or fucking or 13 or 100 Blocks or whatever.
You get really like deep cuts with it too, like the Whisper Gang and the Low Boys and the Neon Demon Biker Gang.
Yes, that'd be so cool.
Just every Gotham gang you can think of, you put in there. The Flying Tiger Triad, and like all things that were from No Man's Land.
Exactly. You could still do like the Jokers and stuff and have it be like a footnote or a weird thing where you're like, oh shit, like implying bigger things, but we're not going to do that yet.
You could put the Sons of Batman come to help. Yeah, and like Batman and Robin are with them for a bit, and Batman are like, I don't like these guys. I don't think these guys are cool.
Yeah. Well, you could then have like the power grid come down, and Batman gets horses, and you have Dark Knight Returns.
Oh my god, yes, Batman and Robin on horses. Yes. Oh my god, what a cool ass image.
Dude, fucking Batman joins the Sons of Bat. Here's a go. That happens, right? It's the Warriors, it's these gangs. Batman is like chased. Like, they're followed by one particular group. It's much smaller than all the other groups. We reveal it's the Sons of Batman, and they've been, and like that. So Batman's like, okay, screw it, we're working with these guys. Yeah, like I need, because it's kind of like War, Jokes, and Riddles, where it's like I have to pick a side.
Yeah,
like I can't not. It's only the two of us. They join the Sons of Batman. He discovers that they've been killing the gangs, or recruiting them. So the Sons of Batman's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then finally it's at the end, and they're like, this is our chance. Like, now we can raise Gotham. Batman's like, no!
Or again, you do the Riddler thing. You give them like some neo-fascist talking points. Like, yeah, now we're going to clean the filth, right, Batman? Right. What do you mean by... You mean fight crime and corruption? Nah, clean the subhumans. Okay, nope, you lost me.
No, but you get that moment at the end of DKR where it's like, or the end of that one issue where he's just like, they're on the pile. They got their torches. Batman shows up on horseback, and he takes the gun. These are the weapon of the enemy.
We will not use it. Yes.
Michael Manhattan, Batman Gothic, or Batman vs. Anarchy. A lot of people are drawing the Anarchy connection. I know that's like a thing.
He'd fit in this universe, I think. Like he was a guy who was in the Flood, and now he's got the mask, and he's recruiting people.
Batman Gothic it's too much. I was thinking about Batman Gothic. I promise you, and I was like, I think it's too weird. I think it's too creepy. But that'd be really cool anyway. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's not as supernatural as I thought it was. Cam, it'd be cool if they tackled a new genre, a Mission Impossible type film, where he takes on international terrorist Ra's al Ghul. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, doing a different theme or a different tone would be really cool.
Because the first one was very clearly horror. There's a lot of Zodiac in there, a lot of Seven.
Yeah, no, they're using ideas and concepts from other movies, let's do that again.
That's why I'm saying do Road Warrior for the next one in the flooded city. It's post-apocalyptic Batman, but just in one part of town.
Exactly. Meow Nian, last from me, Clayface, but more like Chameleon, an actor who goes too far, method, and ends up scarred and changes his face to murder his victims. This has probably been done multiple times. I don't know.
Very golden age Clayface is what
exactly. I don't know if it has been done multiple times. That's still an idea, and I think they're definitely going to be toying with it.
It also fits with this darker, more horror-themed Batman, where it's like, yeah, I am literally, Boris Karloff. I'm a Boris Karloff character.
Exactly. Young Goku over 9,000. Hey guys, got to catch the repeat. I don't know if you mentioned this, but it'd be great to see Dick Grayson or any Bat fan member. Feels like that would be the natural way of creating an organic spinoff. Nightwing, please and thanks. Lol. Yeah, you will be happy about the beginning of the show.
We all got sidekick fever.
Herschel Hershey Venkatresh says Heart of Ice, but it culminates in Bruce actually helping Freeze save Nora. Actual main antagonist is Deathstroke, who has a contract to kill Freeze with Daggett Pharma for evil pharma reasons. Christoph Waltz is Freeze.
I've been pitching Waltz forever for Freeze. Again, if they did it, I'd want them to do it, like in the suit. I'd want them to, spare no expense with it.
True. Anarchic Arachnid, I'd throw a twist in the Court of Owls storyline where you introduce the idea of the Pale Man as this figure in Gotham lore. That'd be a cool idea. Yeah, bringing up the Pale Man would be interesting. It'd be smart to do that, to establish that ahead of time.
You see graffiti and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
How have we not mentioned just the Red Hood gang? That would be something they're preying on the citizens of flooded Gotham, and they're like, yeah, put on this mask, be part of something more.
Right. Cameron F., Court of Owls, catch on the repeat. Well, you'll be happy to see what happens. Luke Varillo, a gang war erupts between Cobblepot and either Black Mask or Rupert Thorne. Mobsters start dying on both sides, but no one's claiming responsibility. Phantasm, who's targeting mobsters from a case in Batman's Bruce's past. Yeah, Mask of the Phantasm is easily one of the best Batman movies of all time. The concept is great. It's solid. It's cheap. And it works. And I want to say cheap, I mean not as expensive.
You could do Phantasm, or you could do Grim Reaper, the character that Phantasm is based on.
Grim Reaper sucks so much. The Reaper sucks. He's so lame. St. Lucia, we need more Catwoman in these pitches. Yeah, you're right.
But I'm almost certain she's going to go and start her own franchise over there.
Right?
You could tell halfway through making that movie, they're like, oh, yeah, she's a star. Oh, yeah, we're going to make a bunch of Catwoman movies just for her.
Yeah. Their chemistry, though, was great.
It really was.
I want more.
It was
Pricey 84, if the Arkham show does build up the villains, a combo of Nightfall and Venom would be cool. Story about addictions and men they destroy. Maybe throw in Robin as the reason for Bruce's detox. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
I have something to live for, something to fight for. I need to be strong for this kid.
Yeah.
I need to be an inspiration and a hero.
Exactly. Luke Varillo, more money for you guys. Thanks, man. I haven't caught live in a while. Any thoughts about Robin? I like the idea of co-opting the Sons of Batman to create a We Are Robin style network of eyes and ears. That could be how you end that other pitch we had with where the Sons of Batman, it's the Warriors, but it's Batman.
Yeah, Batman, I need to take a role in the lives of these orphan children all over Gotham. I need to be like a Dickensian Fagin, but a better version of it.
Yeah.
Batman is friend to children everywhere. Batman is the defender of children everywhere.
Such a weird idea. Nick can't snipe. Bruce tries to provide Dick a new home and help the city, but his money is not used in the right way. Meanwhile, Bats gets attacked by Talons. Okay.
Again, a lot of love for the Talons, a lot of love for Court of Owls.
The Social Club, I've always wanted to see Mr. Freeze grounded. Maybe paralytics instead of an actual ice. Tom King's Cold Days is a good starting point. Yeah, Cold Days is good.
Or just make him the Iceman, famous hitman serial killer. Just do that. I kill them and then I throw them in freezers and shit.
Exactly.
Because it stops with decomp and it makes it harder to find.
Totally. Stuart Flowers, does the Batman take place during the third year? Since they said it's been 2 years, wouldn't he be on his third year? Yes. See, I've been saying that forever, but everybody was like, no, it's year 2. And I'm like, I'm not going to argue with everybody every time. Because I don't want to, because the comments are usually wrong! I haven't thought about what you said, but you're still wrong, because I heard it from my favorite YouTuber who has 2 million subs.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Likewise, people say, oh, Riddler didn't know who Bruce Wayne was. I'm like, yeah, he just said it a lot.
Yeah. Milkman, not only does Batman have to learn how to be Bruce Wayne, but also matches Malone. Ooh. Love that. Yeah. We need matches. Cowboy, Barbara Gordon as Robin, Deathstroke as Batman. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, everyone really wants Deathstroke to be in here too, because that was
he's not a Batman villain.
No, but apparently that was the original pitch with Janela.
Yeah, with friggin' Ben Affleck. Yeah,
in
the Snyderverse, that makes a lot of sense. In this, we can
It
move
does
on
not.
and actually make a Batman movie.
About Batman villains. Isn't that nice?
Aaron Jefferson, I feel like Two-Face would be the perfect sequel villain. I mean, he's always, two,
It's
right?
two.
And James helping us out. Thanks a lot, James.
It feels like there's a lot of places they could still go with Two-Face because obviously, even in Dark Knight, he was like only a villain in the last like half of the movie.
Right? No, that was such a waste, man. I gotta tell you, like setting up Two-Face and then having him get scarred, I was like, okay. But then he's a villain at the end. I'm like, oh. And then they kill him, and I'm like, oh my god.
And
What a
Aaron Eckhart
waste.
is so good too.
Yeah, what a complete waste. And I love how people were like, hey, maybe he didn't die. And Aaron Eckhart's like, hey, maybe he didn't die. Nolan's like, no, he died.
He definitely
It's
did.
over. It's like, cool. You couldn't unmake that mistake, huh? That you literally could easily.
I've been showing a lot of love for the Culkin family. I cast Kieran Culkin as my Mad Hatter because he's so wonderfully
Yeah.
creepy. Macaulay Culkin is Harvey Dent.
Oh, okay.
He's still working. He was in Righteous Gemstones just recently, and he's really goddamn good.
That's true. That's true. You're right.
Yeah, mess up half of his face. Like, hey, Macaulay Culkin, do you have a dark side that you could show? Oh, do I?
Do I ever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anarchic Arachnid, I expressed this in reviews comments. I think we should skip Grayson and go straight for a Robin-type group run by Tim and maybe Duke. Possibly have Jason run Red Hood Gang from the start.
Oh.
Jason being in or running the Red Hood Gang is an interesting twist on that character.
It is, and I like that. Like he's a junior member, like he's running around, and like almost like that kid in the Halloween game. That's like time to make your bones, time to punch this random street guy.
Exactly.
Earn your Red Hood.
Jack Rudy, I think it would be interesting to build up to Joker for a later movie so they can do Arkham Asylum for the third movie once they build other villains.
Oh, they got it. I don't think they're in any rush to do the Joker. I think they've learned from Marvel. Oh, you don't use your biggest villain right away. Oh, you build up to your big villain like 3-4 movies in.
Exactly. And Nick Smith or Smythe do Phantasm where she goes after Red Hood Gang. That's the only good way you bring in Joker. Also, I do really want to see Manganiello as Deathstroke. He's great as Deathstroke. I'm just saying he's not a Batman villain.
I mean, give him his own Deathstroke movie is just
People will watch it. There's a cartoon. People like that. Amazing Andy, I'd say have Robin's story impaled like Batman, the same thing as Batman's Rogues Gallery.
You mean impaled or implied?
I think implied, but yeah.
Oh no, you want Robin impaled? Oh no.
Right, like Robin's there. There's or at the very least, like something happens to the Graysons. We get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was a good thing about the Batman too. It's like here's Batman. Him and Gordon are friends. They have the signal. Everything you think you know about Batman exists and is true in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Exactly. Well, that's it. And James says, hey guys, thanks for the show each week. I love hearing your ideas and staying positive with everything going on. Got to go back to work. We'll get back to work, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Try our best. Thank you.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for hanging out with us and being with us and watching our shows. Thank you very much to Ashley Victoria Robinson for being a special guest on today's episode for her great idea of cracking open the multiverse and making it. It was the most outlandish. It was the most like swinging for the fences. I really, really respect it.
I was worried hers and mine were going to be way too close because I know we both really wanted Robin. Oh no, I'm gonna have to really fight for this one.
Yeah. No, turns out totally different tonal pitches. I'm thrilled we got that. But thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget, if you want to watch more of the show, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, and you'll get notified. Hey, want to meet us live? Come to the Joe Kubert School of Art on March 26th at 2 p.m. Come earlier, and you can hang out at Dewey's Comic City, the comic book store downstairs, and you can buy comics and come up to watch the show. And then hang out with us, buy some merch, or hang out and get some stuff signed, and then go right back downstairs and reshop for comic books. Please join us over at Joe Kubert School of Art in Dover, New Jersey on March 26th at 2 p.m. To meet the whole gang of Comic Pop, and we'll see you guys there. Cam Bowen says, last minute monies. Thanks a lot, Cam. Really, we do appreciate the last minute just under the wire moment.
Last minute money is the best money.
That's right. Exactly. But thank you all so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys next time. Oh, don't forget to visit more of Cape Joel at youtube.com/Cape Joel.
Thank you so much.
And that's it. We'll see you guys then. So long.
Bye-bye.